French Shalom and greetings to you all. Now, at the end of the day, we had what can be considered a minor holiday, although maybe it's not really a holiday because you don't get time off work. But it was a day set aside for special honor. It was Tu B'Shvat, which simply means the 15th, Tu was 15th, of the month of Shvat. And it is considered the new year of the trees, kind of like a Hebrew Arbor Day. Now, trees are so important. While they do many things, the 5 major things that they do are they improve our air quality. They're known as the lungs of the earth. They absorb pollutants and filter contaminants. They produce oxygen, without which, of course, we would die. The second thing is they improve water quality and reduce erosion and flooding. See, it's that leaf canopy. It catches the water before it can hit and erode the ground. They temper climate. Now, how's that for a current topic? And by that, what it means is they lower air temperature and humidity, and the evaporation of water from trees gives an air conditioning effect. Now, there was actually a study, there's always a study, which showed that trees in parking lots can reduce asphalt temperatures by 36 degrees and car interiors by 47 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. Now, I know I try and park by a tree for the shade. They conserve energy. Okay, well-placed residential trees, and you got to think about where you want to place your trees. They shade the home in the summer, and that's why you will often find deciduous trees by homes, because they cool the house in the summer, and when the leaves fall off for the winter, they don't block the sun. And finally, and this is only 5 of a lot of things they do, they are a natural habitat for birds and animals. Trees promote a much healthier ecosystem, and they provide for shelter and for food. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Yay, trees. Trees do deserve a holiday. Now, another major event took place without you necessarily being aware. Now, just like the Hebrew calendar is a 19-year cycle, the moon's nodes change every 19 months in a 19-year cycle. And on the full moon, just the other day, we had the nodes change. And they'll be in Taurus and Scorpio. And your nodes point to lessons in this life and behaviors from past lives. But one of the basic principles of the Hebrew calendar is the observation that sun, earth, and moon come back into the same relative position every 19 years, hence the 19-year cycle, and that's simply a fact of astronomy. Now, in one lunar month, the moon rotates around the earth. In one solar year, the earth revolves around the sun. But only once in every 19 years do they come back into the exact same precise conjunction. So every 19 years, this combination of 12 common years with 7 leap years, you've heard me mention that there's 7 leap years in a 19-year Hebrew cycle. The lunar cycle comes back into precise conjunction with the solar cycle, and we get the unification of the solar and the lunar cycles. And so the 19-year time cycle is the standard by which the lunar and solar cycles are brought back into harmony. We just had it, and I view it's kind of like entering a Stargate. Now, there's also another much more disturbing event. It's a pretty sad world when parents wanting a say in their children's education are branded terrorists, while a sick anti-Semite takes synagogue goers hostage during services, demanding that a known convicted terrorist be freed, and that this horrid event was not being considered to be a crime against the Jewish community. This is disgusting, and it continues to foster blatant anti-Semitism. It's a dangerous slope that we're on. People have been deprived of community and social, spiritual observance for 2 years now. We love being a community. It's bred loneliness and fear and disruption of normal spiritual practice. It takes away a great sense of community, well-being, and camaraderie and goodwill that spiritual gatherings have fostered for thousands of years. All the while, it contributes to diminishing mental health. And just as people were beginning to come together again, fear is keeping them apart. Whether it's created by foolishness or by people saying that there appears to be no attempt to prevent or punish intolerable treatment, we are all connected. There is no room for discrimination, black, Asian, Jewish, or other. We've been reading about the Exodus, which was about this. 2 plagues warning about a mob mentality and behavior, and 2 about discrimination, 1 on perception, 1 on visible differences. We are now doing the exact same thing. We are openly discriminating, and it has to stop. I mean, you must never forget, God created all men. He did not distinguish. I want to say he, she, it, whatever you want to consider God. Man created the distinctions. Man segregated, man gave names. Man has ego, and ego interferes. Man gave names to all the animals. In the beginning, man gave names to all the animals. In the beginning, long time ago, we gave names. But we didn't stop there, did we? We gave positive and negative names. Now, this week was also Martin Luther King's birthday. Now, there was a man who had a great dream. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. What immortal words. Not now. I don't think he would recognize today's world. Next year will mark 60 years since those immortal words were spoken. For a long time, it was within reach. But now, we're just taking huge steps backwards. We're no longer judging by character at all. We've created more distinctions and divisions and separations than mere color. Religious differences are greater. Spiritual beliefs, political affiliations. We've even made vaccine status divisive and discriminatory. All have contributed to this splintered, divisive, hate-fueled and hate-filled world. And that has to stop. Anybody here seen my old friend Mark? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good, they die young. I just turn around and he's gone. Let's all take a step back and celebrate that coming together was once so prevalent and can be again. It's just like when we celebrate when we come together and honor spiritual beliefs. You with yours, me with mine, them with theirs, all accepted in a gathering, a collective consciousness of seekers showing individual faith. Any and all faith. Love, any and all love. That's a true chavura, it's a fellowship. As we all express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, it unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together we're always individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her own way. So once again, please do go ahead, invite everybody, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We are a giant community together, my friends, all of us, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. This is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention. That's what you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. Your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. So let's all send out some healing energy and intention to help heal those in need of healing, in need of the blessings of God. So let's take some time now. Let's use the light, the intention, the goodwill, and send some of that goodwill, some renewal and healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Renewal for everyone. Floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam, healing of the world. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. It's our task to help heal the world. It's not something we complete. It's an ongoing commitment we make to be dealt with in this lifetime. Wouldn't it be great if it would be complete? But instead, it's for every lifetime, because we just keep making more that needs to be fixed. We each have to do what we can to improve and change our own little corner of the world. As we change ourselves, we change the conditions of our lives, and therefore we change everything. Now, part of that healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere, for Nick and Maddie, for Sherry and Marvin, Joni and Alan, for Shelley and Kelly, for Doria, for Tamara and Terry, for Joseph, for Aurelia, for Connie and Kathleen, for Dave and Mookie, for Lori and Ann and Alex, for all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everybody you know in need, and for the whole world, and always for dear Rosemary. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, the goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit never dies. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He's healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing's a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. And next week we'll be celebrating the Chinese New Year, the Water Tiger Year, and we will take a closer look at what it brings. But this week, we're going to read a very rare Torah parsha named for a non-Jewish character, Yitro, Jethro. But in this book of names, we saw that he had several other names. Now, he was Moses' father-in-law, and he comes to meet Moses. Exodus 18:5. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, and his sons and his wife came to Moses, to the wilderness in which he was camping at the mountain of God. And he said to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, have come to you, and your wife and her 2 sons with her. Moses went out to his father-in-law, and he bowed and he kissed him, and they asked each other how they were, and they came to the tent. You know, friends, this is the closest to a relationship we see of Moses' life. And while he asks his father-in-law how he was, he sees his wife, his children. He doesn't greet them, that we're aware of. In fact, we're told nothing of his interaction with his own family. We never see him interacting with his family. Why does the Torah announce the arrival of Moses' wife and children, but not describe a personal meeting scene between them and Moses? This is another perfect opportunity to write a midrash and speculate on what could have taken place. Well, Moses catches Jethro up on everything that happened and is happening, and he explains how he processes his day and how busy he is. And Jethro suggests to him a system of judging. Exodus 18:24. And Moses listened to his father-in-law's voice, and he did everything that he said. Now, that system put in place of judging lasted all the way through the entire period of Judges, close to 1,000 years. But I'm not going to spend any time on that, because this week is about the great epiphany. Jethro goes home. Moses moves on. Exodus 19:1. In the 3rd month, after the exodus of the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, on this day, they came to the wilderness of Sinai, and Israel camped there opposite the mountain. People are at the mountain of God. Today is the day, and Moses sets the scene. You shall limit the people around, saying, watch yourselves about going up in the mountain and touching its edge. Anyone who touches the mountain shall be put to death. Whether animal or man, he will not live. At the blowing of the horn, they shall go up the mountain. The people have been invited to participate. They must not touch the mountain, which is that little bit of distance that they must keep from what they're about to see, that separation between the holy and the secular. Exodus 19:16. It was on the 3rd day, when it was morning. It was thunder and lightning and a heavy cloud on the mountain, the sound of a horn, very strong. And the entire people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought out the people toward God from the camp, and they stood up at the bottom of the mountain. Mount Sinai was all smoke, because the Lord came down on it in fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. Thunder on the mountain, there's fires on the moon, there's a ruckus in the alley, the sun will be here soon. 2 days today, I'm gonna grab my trombone and blow. Well, there's hot stuff here, and it's everywhere I go. Now the mountain's shaking. 600,000 people are there. These are the words of God himself. Nowhere else in human history has the instructions of spiritual practice been delivered to everyone, and not just one person who ends up saying, hey, God told me. You'll notice that there's a formal similarity in what you're going to read now between this covenant and international legal documents of the ancient Near East countries, which regularly included specific things. It included a specific group of formal elements that you will see in every contract. An introduction, a prologue establishing the history of the relationship, and stipulations. Exodus 21. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am he who causes being your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, from a house of slaves. Well, there we have the introduction and the prologue. Now the stipulations will come. But notice the introduction is not of the creator of the world, but who gave you freedom. The most important thing you can have, and this will be the permanent new calling card when God is speaking. Brought you out of the land of Egypt from a house of slaves. Freedom. So what are the stipulations? Now remember, they ended up carved on 2 stone tablets, so they couldn't be too wordy, nor do they have to be. Now they're a little wordier here than what was carved, right? Because there's less room when you're carving them. And there's minor explanation or expansion with some of them, which you wouldn't have seen on the carved stone tablets. And of course, we then get books and books and books of further interpretations and explanations. But you know what, my friends? They really do speak for themselves. No other God. Just like light or sound emanates from a single source and vibrates and expands, there is a point at the root of everything, the one. He who causes being was the point from which everything emanated. No image, the second. Now this goes beyond mere recognition. We're not limited by our 5 senses, which can do so much to limit our ability to understand. But we cannot make an image of something that truly is beyond our ability to actually imagine. And that gives it, like it's too anthropomorphic, which is making it human-like. The third is one of the more interesting ones. Not that they aren't all. Exodus 27, you shall not bring up the name of the Lord your God for a falsehood. Now, we say don't take the name of the Lord in vain, and we think it has to do with swearing. No, it has to do with making an oath. Swear to God. Most of which are never fulfilled, but they will be in the future. I swear to God. We even went so far to incorporate the annulment of vows from what has become the most sacred day of the year. Fourth is remember the Sabbath. Sabbath means stop, cease, take time to stop. It allows you to be like God, work and then stop. God didn't have to regenerate, we do. The fifth is honor father and mother. The roots are where you come from, and the energy of male and female, the two elements needed for creation. Then there's this mini rush of commandments, because those ones deal with specific things. Then we get the ones that deal basically with how we treat humanity. Exodus 20:13. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not testify against your neighbor as a lying witness. All to do with people and treating other people. No murder. Now the King John translation is simply wrong. It is not kill. Murder is a very separate thing. Murder contains intention, and killing may not. And this is not just about physical acts. We often murder the spirit of people. No adultery. The rules for marriage were different for men and for women. However, you almost have to go back to the Egyptian pyramid text to understand how this one came about. On death, the soul of the deceased was guided along the path of the underworld by Anubis and asked questions by a series of assessors or judges. His heart was then weighed against a feather, and his heart needed to be lighter. And these questions all made their way into the Vidwi prayer in the Yom Kippur service. And one of those questions was about love and sex. Have you loved only where the heart is? This strikes at the emotional commitments we need to make and uphold. No stealing. Now that can be as simple as an apple from the grocery store or time at work for personal business. Both of those are stealing. No lying. Lies create a momentum of their own, and they lay at the root of loshen hora, evil speech. And the last one is also a very fantastic one. It's no coveting. When we covet, we long for what someone else has, and this breeds jealousy and envy and diminishes our own worth. Do not diminish yourself. Okay, remember, no dream is too big, no challenge too great. Nothing that we want for our future is beyond our reach. It's always accomplished on a step-by-step basis, not by being jealous of what somebody else has, right? Not by diminishing the steps and the accomplishments we've made. Now, it used to be that your daily prayer was as simple as reciting the Ten Commandments and saying the Shema, the six-word prayer honoring monotheism. Listen, you who struggle, the Lord is God, the Lord alone. How simple and easy those two things are. If you read nothing else in this week's Parsha, read that. It's not big, but it can change your life. If you do, those two things, say the Shema and say the Ten Commandments every day to yourself, you'll live a different life. Even if you don't want to say the Shema, just say the Ten Commandments and guide your life by those things. Yes, my friend, the world's sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. We set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. As I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven, because you have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. Continue to act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. We are all connected. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power, my friends, lies in your consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Your words are your power to help, to love, to bless. So be generous. Bless others and bless yourself. Love with the heart, because we're all part of the greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. Remember, you're never alone on your journey to the promised land. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Go and read these guides for life. And if you live by them, your life will change in ways you cannot imagine. 10 little rules to live by. 10 little rules to know. 10 simple ways to lead your life each day. 10 little ways to reap what you sow. 10 ways to be a brother. 10 ways to be a friend. 10 ways to see how life ought to be. 10 ways to get where you need be in the end. 10 simple little rules. These 10 words, what many consider the defining moment of mankind. The great epiphany, the public announcement to over 600,000 people, the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments, which in Hebrew are called the 10 words, Asheret HaDibro, the only real rules you need. Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Have a great week. Have a great year. Keep sharing the light. Keep exercising forgiveness. Be thankful. Be gracious. Be kind. Be loving. Believe in yourself and in love. Have a little faith. And continue to spread a little goodwill to the world. And never forget, you are the miracle in someone else's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.